Hello and welcome to another video on the Cotswold Bees channel. Bit different today, we're not at Cotswold Bees HQ, we're actually up at Adam Henson's Cotswold Farm Park. And some of you may have seen the country file programmes that we did about the bees on the Sandfoin and how wonderful the honey is there. The farm park's about to open, so one of the permanent attractions here at the farm park is actually the observation hive. So what we're going to do today is we're actually going to be putting the bees into the observation hive, and we thought we'd take you along to see how we do that. And obviously, being a farm park, we've got visitors, so we've got our new assistant here who's going to help us put the bees in, and I'm sure he'll be absolutely fantastic at doing that. So what we're going to do now is get suited up, take you over to the observation hive, have a look at how we do it, and then we can have a look at the finished observation hive when we've actually got the bees in. So we're going to put a nucleus into the observation hive. And just as we did when we put the nucleus into a full-size hive, and if you haven't seen that video, pop back and have a look at it, we need to feed them just to make sure they've got enough food to get established. Now with that video, we showed that in a full hive, we use a bucket feeder that sits on top of the crown board. We can't do that with the observation hive, so we're going to use one of these. This is called a frame feeder, and it just sits in as one of the frames. We're going to fill it full of syrup, and we're going to put this block on top of the syrup, and this will float on there. The bees can stand on this block of wood and suck the syrup up if they need it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fill this up with syrup, and I'm doing it away from the hive just in case I spill any, because I don't want to attract bees from other areas. So I'm just going to fill this up. Hopefully I'm going to do it without spilling any. It's never terribly easy, especially in the field, but we're going to have a go. There we go, filling up nicely. And this is the equivalent of a 1 pound of sugar to 1 pint of water syrup. So it's ready for them to use straight away if they need it. There we go, nice and full. Can pop my flotation device on the top there. I always like to pop these in afterwards. It's a bit fiddly, but it does mean I can check that it is actually floating on the top, which it is, and so now I can use that to feed the bees. So here we are in the wildlife area, and I'm just going to put this frame feeder into the observation hive before we actually start putting the bees in. I've got my nucleus of bees here, and they've been here just like with a normal hive for some while, settling down. So I'm just going to pop this feeder in, and then we'll get suited and booted and we'll pop the bees in afterwards. So the frame feeder is just going to go in there. And this is a nice big observation hive. It's actually a 10 frame observation hive, so it's nice and big. The bees will have plenty of room to expand when we get in there, and so it's going to be really good for them, as well as as you will see later, it's really great for observing from the other side, which is where you'll be able to see the bees if you come to the farm park. So here we are at the actual observation hive, and I'm now going to put in the bees. I put in a couple of blank frames for them to expand onto, and now I've got this 6 frame nucleus, and I'm going to put those in. Same way I'd put them into any hive. Tiny bit of smoke in the front, just to announce my presence. And then I'm going to take the top off, which of course they've stuck down rather well. There we go. And we can just start moving these into the hive. So very gently as always, just taking the frames out. Lots of bees on there. Just going to pop that one down there for a minute. Then we'll take this one out. Exactly the same as we would normally. Here's the frame. Lots of eggs in there. Eggs in almost every cell. I'm not going to spend long on it. There's the queen. There she is, running about nicely. So I'm going to get this in very quickly now, because I know the queen's on that frame, so I don't want to drop her. So there, she's in there. I want to move reasonably quickly because it's quite cool today. Just get these in. Lots and lots of brood there on that one, all looking good. Very, very quickly, just having a quick check as it goes in, but I'm not messing about. In they all go. Again, nice frame of brood here again. Lovely calm bees, which is obviously what we want with members of the public around. Lots of brood there, nice and flat, honey for them. So that's good. So we can get this one in. There we go. Next frame in. All nice, looking good. Just got to do this one down the bottom here now. Always one really stuck. But here we go. Just moving this last one in. Down at the bottom. In it goes. All looking good. Very few bees left in there. I'll take those out in a second. I'm just going to get the back on now. Now what we've done is we've got a nice dark back here. So the bees have got plenty of dark space as well as the light at the front where the actual observation hive is. And that gives them plenty of room for the queen to lay where it's dark. And that's really important from a bee welfare point of view. So I'm just going to start putting these screws in. There we go. I'm just going to put a couple more in for now because I'm going to come back and I will need to inspect this hive fairly soon. And we're going to be doing the normal 7 to 10 day inspections on this hive, exactly the same as we would any other hive. So let's put the observation hive together. I'm just going to knock out these few bees that are here. And then we'll take you around to the front of the hive and you can have a look and see what the hive actually looks like. These bees now, they can fly into the entrance there without any problem there. So very quickly, they'll work out where they're supposed to be going. So we're going to pop round to the front of the hive now and have a look at the actual observation hive from the public side. So here we are actually on the observation side of the observation hive. We've got a nice big, almost like a bus shelter here for people to come into. A little bit of information on the bees, and the way in which the folks at the farm park have done this is absolutely fantastic because it doesn't matter how tall or short you are, you can see through. We've got a big glass pane in here for safety purposes. If we do get children knocking on there, for example, it's not going to affect the bees at all because they're in their observation hive, which is stood back from here. It's very clear to see what's going on. You can see the hive that's been put in here, and then you can see above that we've got the empty frames, and the bees will move their way into the empty frames over the course of the next few weeks. So that's the observation hive in place. Really hope you'll come to the farm park and have a look at it and enjoy the bees as well as everything else that's here. And that's it for this episode of Cotswold Bees. The only thing is, hang about and just look to the outtake at the end of the channel. We had a bit of an interesting time with one of the animals earlier, and I think you'll find it quite amusing before you disappear from here. So, but we've done all our work here, so Carol and I are going to go back to the truck and have a cup of coffee and a bit of cake and congratulate ourselves on a job well done. And hopefully a lot of people are going to enjoy this throughout the rest of the summer. Hello and welcome to another video on the Cotswold Bees channel. Bit different today, we're not at Cotswold Bees HQ, we're actually up at Adam Henson's Cotswold Farm Park. And the reason for that is we do a lot of work with the farm park. We've got a joint venture on the Samfoin and we've always had bees here, and we probably should start that again.